saying if you want to talk to someone, if you
Carry
want to
on.
talk to someone in certain departments, say bank, say commercial, say whatever. So the bank's starting to go voice recognition on their customer service, which is impressive. And I
Yeah,
see it seems like in the area, yeah, they're closing more and more auto banks. They closed most of the branch or all the little branches. So they're becoming IT and it's all going onto the app, as we all know. But it's interesting to see what the banks are doing as far as how they can help you and as far as voice goes. So it looks like, the automation is just getting better and better with all the big companies. I don't know if anybody else saw that, seen that.
yeah, that's true. Anybody else on that one? Cool. Okay. And then finally, AGI emergence. We're talking about 2028. New science becomes possible. Don't know if you guys have seen the Nobel Prize that went to I've got his name on the news articles, but basically where AI is now AI was possible. Well, let me wait till I get to the article so I don't sort of mess it up completely. Um, Business reset across industries. AI agent and clusters emerged to create large autonomous enterprises. Rethink how we measure economic health and growth. Rethink business, rethink marketing, and rethink our human purpose. Um, Ilya Setskever, the CEO of Safe Superintelligence, he was, like a lot of these guys, was at OpenAI, but has now got his own business. He says, the way I think about AI in the future is not someone as smart or as you and me, but as an automated organization. It's a constituent of AIs that would work and communicate at high speeds like bees in a hive. A single such organization would be as powerful as 50 Apples or Googles. Now that to me is a scary comment, because if you think of a whole bunch of AIs or organizations that work together and are as powerful or 50 times as powerful as Apple or Google, yeah, that's a whole new world that we would be living in. So we do not reach AGI completely to uh, I don't understand this comment. We do not reach well, we do not need to reach AGI, however you define it, for it to be transformative in every way. Here's another scary comment. This lady is a chief of staff at Anthropic, and she says that the general reaction to large language models among knowledge workers is one of denial. They grasp at ever diminishing number of places where such models struggle, rather than noticing the ever-growing range of tasks where they have reached or surpassed human level. The economical and politically relevant comparison on most tasks is not whether the language model is better than the human, it's whether they are better than the human who would otherwise do the task. I think that's a great way to think of it. We think, oh, but it's not as smart as the smartest human. No, it just has to be smarter than the person who's currently doing the job to make a change in that organization. Okay, so in marketing and business, we're going to see so many things change, shifts in consumer behavior, fewer people doing the same jobs, automation of tasks, premium on data and distribution of differentiators as differentiators, increased capacity to produce more goods, increase in competition, more productivity and creativity, innovation, profitability, and jobs. So a lot of changes coming. The only thing that he talks about is what will still remain uniquely human that the AIs will never be able to do. And then the other question is, will it be able to achieve or simulate at above human levels? So it's not always that they can do it, but sometimes they can simulate some of these human traits. So they can simulate emotions, they can simulate empathy, and they could probably do it better than a lot of humans. But also think about it that a lot of humans are bad at these traits anyway, at empathy or, imagination or instinct or those sort of things. So if the AI could just merely simulate it and actually not truly feel it, then then the AI can still play a role in a lot of these things. But I think he says that the blue ones are the ones where they probably won't, that's where the uniquely human aspects is still going to remain. So yeah, the future is unknown. I'll just skip forward to some of the final thoughts that he had over here. And the one is that we have the opportunity to reimagine business models, reinvent career paths, and redefine what is possible. So that's quite interesting. So if you're uncomfortable with change or reinvention, then you're in for a rough ride in the next few years. But we have the opportunity to lead by just understanding the stuff. The future can be abundant and incredible if we choose to be responsible and human-centered. The goal for AI should be to unlock human potential and not replace it. We can make future more intelligent and more human. So I think it was quite a profound presentation. Any other viewpoints or opinions, or do you think a lot of this is it true, not true, and how does it make you feel?
Extremely scared and excited at the same time.
Absolutely, Bertus. Yeah, I know that. I'm also, sometimes I think, oh no, this is just going to be all cool, and it's going to, just going to be so helpful, but also, what if it goes wrong?
Well, I just hope people stay on track with these things. Otherwise, if you're gonna stay behind, you're gonna be very far behind very quickly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of job losses as well. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
For me, Quentin, I think it's the speed of it. When you think about desktop PC, it comes out in the late 80s, and application takes a long time, and it explodes. Today we've got laptops. We're using Windows 11 or Mac OS, but those things were transitioned very slowly. The speed of AI is very scary. Where it scares me the most is in undeveloped countries, where there isn't reach and access for such technology. And those people are going to be left behind very quickly. There needs to be some form of alliances that come together to bring the world together for this type of technology, because 10 years to reach AGI, for me, that's so fast that a normal human being wouldn't be able to handle that. It's too fast the way we're moving at it. And underdeveloped countries, and even in South Africa, where we have townships where education it's so limited when it comes to IT and ICT, any of those courses, their kids are going to be left behind because of the speed of it. Society is setting itself up for something that's crazy with AI.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, because AI is an opportunity for the undeveloped world, the developing world, to catch up with the developed world. It gives that opportunity to use the technology to literally fast track a lot of this learning and training and that sort of stuff. But if it doesn't happen, then the gap is just going to get wider. So hopefully there are enough initiatives to get that done. Sorry, Larry, you had your hand up.
Yes, I two things to draw your attention to. First, let me say, you'll find precision killing through the link of AI, which is used by Israel. Again, perhaps you're not aware, maybe you are, that also AI is basically using some database from the COVID-19 as well. Perhaps you might be wondering, what is the linkage? We're all silent about, those who've got vaccine. Where is the database actually kept from each country? Because when you go centrally to get vaccine, you have a record, which is with the health authority in your country. So what is done with those databases that has not been converted to 1 and 000, which is a code that basically each and every one of us actually have for those who got the vaccine. So can you be targeted? Yes, is the answer. Can AI do that for you? Yes, is the answer. So, but where is the ethics behind this? We've all been convinced to get the job because there was pandemic. Now we did it under good faith or good citizenship. But now such information is now being used with the help of AI to now make you become a target or make you vulnerable to being traced everywhere. That is one. We can look at that a bit more to kind of find what is the, and also there's increase in cancer rate for those who have been vaccinated than before. That is one. And then two, the other one I wanted to ask you, I'm looking for a CEO. Chief Operating Officer. Can AI help me? That's one question. And because I'm based in London and I want the AI, the Chief Operating Officer to work for me in Nigeria. And all I need is obviously for them to be able to connect to internet, but can they do the job? I'm running education, so I need that. I just want to kind of find out how can such a person be my assistant in that country without being there?
I'll answer your question just now. Bridget, you have your hand up?
Yeah, what I'm concerned about is the amount of scams that's going to. I think they're going to be more efficient at it because it's already quite bad now. So you need some clever guy know how to use AI to his advantage. I think they're going to get targeted or, because it looks more legit.
Yeah, that's also a very, very real danger. And so it's going to have to be, you're going to have to get smart people to help us to build systems to protect ourselves. So cybersecurity, it's a pity that we don't have anybody that specializes in cybersecurity on here. Sorry, is there somebody?
Yes, there is somebody.
Oh, Jason, I didn't see you there. Oh, no, my word. I'm so glad you answered that question.
I've missed a number of your podcasts, but I've listened to all the recordings.
Please help me out here about cybersecurity.
No, look, I mean, one of the things that we know is there's a hell of a development at the moment in AI capabilities around building your cyber resilience practices, right? The challenge that we have is, I think, a lot of legacy cybersecurity providers are saying, well, we've been using AI for a long time and those kind of things. However, there is a significant change in the market as to one, how do you build in all of the capabilities around protecting organizations? And again, we're doing a lot of research around that at the moment because it's still quite in its infancy. But there are tools that are out there that are looking at obviously the speeds and the feeds and everything from your phishing scams and how those things are doing. I think the biggest challenge that we're seeing is like the deep fakes. And the voice recordings, voice of the CEO and voice of the CIO and those kind of things, because there's no real technology at this point in time that's able to, thwart those kind of attacks. But we're seeing quite a development in AI. I think we have quite a challenge. We talk a lot around development, right? And I know we've got some really key developers here. The size and the scale of the API market, as well as how we're embedding APIs and AI into what we're developing, is proving to be a significant challenge. But there is a lot of development happening at the moment. It's just, it's early adopter zone, right? And I think if you're brave enough and your organization is adopting enough, if you just take 10 minutes to have a look and see what's out there, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But unfortunately, it's coming out of Israel, it's coming out of America, it's coming out of Europe. That's just where it is. And it's, again, there are tools but it's the same scenario. You've got to find a holistic strategy at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, thank you very much. Nish, you have a comment?
Yeah, I think uh, perspective is important. So I'll give an alternative perspective to Jason, which I agree with him completely around cyber resilience. But alternative perspective is you've got to look at the motivations for the big corporates. So you know, your they're now calling it the Magnificent Seven, right? Seven big companies because Nvidia is now part of that. You know, it's all by market cap. Nvidia is in it, and so it's no longer just Amazon and Google. But the alternative view here is that they're not motivated necessarily to spot deep fakes and clones. And the reason is because it content is created by the same technology. And so marketing is using digital clones, they're using deep fakes. And so content is ultimately how they generate marketing revenue or advertising.
Yes.
And so they are not necessarily motivated to spot from an individual consumer, we one data point. They're not motivated to necessarily help us spot those defects. And so we have to be digitally curious enough to kind of spot it ourselves. You know, where is facial expressions or shadows or flow of hair different? And where does it look like a game and where does it look like real? Or putting in certain mechanisms in place. Like in my family, I've got a digital safe word that I've initiated with them because I'm in the public eye all the time. And so if I ask for something from them, whether they hear my voice or they see me on a video call, I've got to say this word for them to take action. And so it's those things where we've got to like be consciously aware because we can't leave it up to the Googles and the Amazons and the Apples of the world to protect us because their goals and their ambitions, even Microsoft, their goals and ambitions might not always be aligned to our personal goals and ambitions.
Yeah, fully agree with that. I think, and just to Nish, just also support that conversation. I often liken myself and the business that we're into selling insurance. You know, people want the business benefit of what these, obviously what AI is bringing. But we are so in the infancy on how do we actually start protecting privacy. There's obviously the huge ethical conversation that joins that. For those HR folks on the call, and that becomes a legal mess, to say the least. What I'm quite happy with in the cybersecurity space is, and I think I've explained this before here as well, is that there's only certain ways to break into a network. Right. And if which is called the MITRE ATT&CK framework, right? And there's a methodology and all those kind of things. The nice thing is in our world, we can have closed AI models. So I don't need people to start, creating all kinds of algorithms because they now think they're better than the MITRE ATT&CK framework, which is kind of cool for us. You've just got to figure out those models and then teach your AI. But I think when the challenge comes is, and I know it will come, is sooner or later, there will be an open AI protection strategy where, again, we can get some really clever people or some really dumb people, whichever way you see it, to start telling the cybersecurity tool what to do. So that's where I think, it's going to go, which will be really scary. But I think right now we're reasonably safe. But again, it's early adoption phase. We're starting to have conversations with some people around how we help protect your privacy. We start looking at data leakage and data loss, and start looking at those algorithms and looking at working into the DevSecOps, which is a mind mess all by itself because nobody likes to talk to you there. And then I think also it's the legal side of things, because that's where it really starts to get messy. And I think that's where organizations need to start looking at those frameworks before they even slightly start looking at adopting AI. They need to have a very core understanding about how they're going to adopt it, what are the guardrails they put in place. In all the research that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, because there's been quite a couple of organizations questioning, there's even some tools out there that make Copilot work better than Copilot works. So it's a very interesting market, but I think we're still in the infancy. But unfortunately, I think the ship, like with anything, the ship has already sailed. It's a matter of now, how do we work with these people whoever they are, and I'm sure some of you are on the call, is, how do we start bringing in the conversation of privacy? We start making sure you put the guardrails up, because staff don't know, man. If you give them a tool, they're going to use the tool. Those are the things that, we need to start looking at education. And Nish, I love the way you've got a safe word. We've taught our daughter a lot of things, but safe word hasn't. So that's definitely a good one. I like that.
Yeah, some good advice there.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. All right, Larry, you got we're sort of running out of time.
I'll make it very quick. I just want to make a suggestion that since we all seems to be in sync with the fact that this could be a very interesting time when it comes to AI, why don't we then, with a number of us on this platform, kind of come together to kind of create the do's and don'ts of AI? It might sound basic, it might sound dummy to start with, but if you put it, sorry, I'll just use an example. If you get your boarding pass and then you drop it anywhere, you think, oh, I don't need it anymore. I finished my journey, I'm going home. Then that contains all details about you.
Yeah.
The same thing. So if you're using AI as well, and you're putting your name, even your email addresses and everything else onto AI, you're also doing exactly the same thing, because who do you know that is keeping your data up there with AI? And when you're also, taking notes in the meeting, all those things, I think we can probably come together and draw up a do's and don'ts book, kind of dummy
AI. Well, I think it's an AI for dummies, but you got to
dummies book for AI, yes. So something like that. I think we need to create one to start to warn people, because there are some issues out there.
I like the idea. So I was going to ask Jason, we've spoken before, maybe if you could come on again next week and we sort of dedicate the whole hour to just talk about this topic. I am recording this, yes, Larry, and what I've done as well in the website is I'm using Notebook LM that I've been telling you all about, and all the meetings will be housed in there. And then you can use AI to find out about everything that we learned. My point is, though, if we have this meeting next week and we discuss sort of the do's and don'ts of AI, we could literally ask Notebook to put together a guide for us, an AI security, AI cybersecurity for dummies PDF at the end of the meeting. So that would be pretty good. Jason, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, happy to. And Quinton, actually, I'm working with a seasoned professional in the governance and risk space, who in fact is part of her dissertation is effectively building frameworks for organizations. I'm going to see if I can connect you with her, because again, she's asked me to read through the frameworks and work with her on it, and it's been hell of an interesting. Again, I think her experience, she's happened to have worked in some of the major banks, and right now she's looking at a dissertation in the banks. But I think just her exposure and the fact that she's doing the dissertation, I think she'd be a great part of this group, because I think also that kind of guidance and just listening to the previous gentleman talking, I think she could add a lot of value. So let me connect you and see if we can get Colette to join us as well, because I think she'll have a very good perspective from again, putting up those guardrails. How do we start this journey with organizations? I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done, but unfortunately, I think we can all agree that people are already using AI. Copilot is being forced down people's throats left, right, and center, and unfortunately, the guardrails have yet to be put up, right?
Yeah, correct.
But
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I appreciate that. That would be amazing. All right. Larry, have you got your hands up again, or is it from the previous comment?
Time is gone, so I probably kind of call you back later to discuss a few things with you, because we have a program with you this month, 26 and 27 this month. So please don't forget that.
Yeah.
I'll send you the details.
Okay. All right, let's chat about that. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. A nice conversation today. I enjoyed it. And as usual, if you want the recordings, join the VIP group and you have access to everything, plus all the Notebook LM's summaries and AI that you can ask questions of the meeting 10 weeks ago, and ask AI to write you a whole book about the last 10 weeks that we've had meetings of. But you've got to join the VIP group for that. So, okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.